Okay, I want to talk a little bit about matrix reimprinting and how it seems to work and my experience with it. Matrix reimprinting is a different way of using EFT to get a deeper level of healing for certain issues. You may or may not know, but EFT is a very powerful technique where you can pretty quickly and effectively relieve all kind of emotional distresses and quite often chronic physical pain. It seems like magic, and I don't know if anybody really knows how it works for sure. I certainly don't, and I'm just interested in, does it work, and can I get consistent, effective results? And that has been the case for me over the past 10 years. And when I came across, and I'm always looking for ways to improve the way I can interact with clients and get them a deeper and quicker healing experience. So when I came across Matrix Reimprinting about a year and a half ago, I was interested. It was promoted as using EFT. So since I was already very competent and pretty experienced at EFT, I thought this is worth looking into. So I read the book about it, and I was totally fascinated. It made a lot of sense to me because basically quantum physics today is a lot of the stuff that they're finding and proving by hard experiments is like what we think of as a science fiction type stuff. And it always is interesting to me, even with something like EFT, that, people just think, well, how can that work? I just can't believe that. I don't understand it. And I think, well, do you understand how your cell phone works? Or do you understand how your microwave works? Or electricity, or your TV, or your car, or lots of things? I mean, if we only implemented and used things that we understood how it worked, we'd mostly probably be still in caves cooking over fires. So for me, it's not about really understanding it. It's about, does it work? So the concept behind matrix reimprinting is that anything that's ever happened to us in the past or anything that will ever happen in the future has associated with it what they call an energy consciousness hologram, or echo for short. And the way that you use matrix reimprinting is you have a person focus on an event that has associated with it a number of emotional distresses. For example, let's say that you have a 50-year-old woman and that when she was 20, she experienced a violent rape. Now, when she thinks about that event, there are going to be a number of emotional distresses connected to it. Maybe fear, anger, outrage, being violated, whatever. There'll be a lot of different aspects related to it. Now, with regular EFT, what we do is we focus on each emotional distress and then do some tapping and keep moving around. And there's different techniques that you use with the EFT until you get the person down to a 0 or a 1 on all the emotional distress aspects. In other words, in this case with the 50-year-old woman, she can think about what happened and have no emotional charge on it. It's like cleared, it's done. And, that's amazing. And quite often, that can be done in one session with EFT. And that in itself seems unbelievable to people because they've been maybe in therapy for years or on medications or whatever. And so that seems magical. And it is magical. Now, what happens with the matrix reimprinting is that you take a person into that scene. For instance, in this case of the 50-year-old woman, I would have her reconnect with that scene of the rape, and then I would have her see herself step into the scene. And then I guide her through healing on her younger self, or the echo, the 20-year echo. I guide her to tap on the echo, and while she's tapping on herself, and then there's a lot of stuff that can go on in the Matrix while she's tapping on the 20-year-old echo. That 20-year-old may have a memory from 10 years old, so then we have another echo. Or there may be other people in the scene that need healing. So it's really like a movie going on, and I'm just the guide, and my client who I'm working with, the actual client is really the echo in the Matrix. So it's really pretty amazing. And there's 3 testimonies from people here on this page that had some experience with EFT previously, and their testimony here is after their first session with Matrix Reimprinting. And what I did when I first learned about Matrix Reimprinting, I kind of like to test things out for myself. So probably for about the first 20 times that I did Matrix Reimprinting on different people, what I did was I first of all did regular EFT tapping outside of the Matrix to get people down to and in EFT world, we use a scale of 0 to 10 to measure your subjective units of distress. So if somebody's at an 8, 9, or a 10, they're pretty charged up. When you get them down to a 1 or a 0, that's a good place to be. So in these Matrix Reimprinting sessions, you really don't have to do regular EFT. You go right into the Matrix. But for my own experimentation, I wanted to see if there was really anything to this going into the Matrix. So I would use regular EFT to get people down to a 0 to 1 level of distress, and you're normally done with regular EFT. But then I would have them go into the Matrix and then interact with the echo, which is like a separate identity there. Every time the echo was highly charged up. And when we did the healing process using the EFT, and then there's a re-imprinting process at the end, and then I bring the person out of the Matrix, and every time I ask the person, well, what was your experience in the Matrix as compared to regular EFT? They said it was much deeper, it felt more powerful, and I feel like I really am healed. So, that convinced me that there's something really to it. And I've actually, most of the time, I use this for past events. I've had occasion a few times to use this for future events where someone had something coming up, a situation they were going to have to deal with that they really had a lot of emotional distress about. And so we went through the same process, but for a future echo. And, when the person got to that situation, they were fine dealing with it, and they dealt with it in a much more effective and powerful way than they would have imagined. So anyhow, now Matrix Reimprinting is not, I'm not going to say it's impossible to do for yourself, but it's very difficult. I've tried to do it with myself, and it's just not easy to do because of the process. And you also cannot, Matrix Reimprinting is a one-on-one experience. You cannot do it in groups. EFT I can do very effectively in groups. I can have 100 or 200 people in a room, and everybody can be working on different issues at the same time and get results. So, that's the only downside to the Matrix Reimprinting is you can't do it for yourself, and you practitioners cannot do it in groups, as far as I know. So hopefully this is useful to you, and I look forward to meeting you if that's in the cards for both of us. Thank you.